You know, when you watch someone do something and they just make it look effortless? I mean, it's literally as easy as breathing to them. Well, it turns out they didn't just wake up one day and just become that good at whatever it is they're doing. And that's what we're gonna break down today. Come on, let's chat. Today's video is all about breaking down the misnomer that people are just naturally good at things. Now, don't get me wrong, we all have our gifts. We all have things that we are inclined towards. But when you look at someone excelling at something, it's not just because they were born to do it. It's because behind what you see, there's months, years, a whole lifetime of hard work and dedication to their craft. We're gonna jump into Destiny 2 to explore this, and today we're joined by a very special guest. Let's get on into it. Here we are in Destiny 2, and I want to start off by introducing our guest for today. IceMan has a long history in competitive gaming, beginning in Counter-Strike. He played at various professional levels over a 16-year career in the game. With the launch of Destiny Alpha in June of 2014, he fell in love with the game and has since transitioned to being a full-time Destiny 2 content creator, seeing both incredible accolades, including being the Destiny 2 bounty for Bungie, hosting several successful charity streams, and competing in several Day 1 raid races as part of Clan Obtained, all while being a father, husband, and dog dad. IceMan, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, man. That was way too kind, but thank you. I like the dog dad part. That was good.
Yeah, well, it's important, and you've earned it. All right, so here we are. We're looking at Destiny 2 footage right now, and specifically, we're looking at you playing in the competitive PvP playlist. Destiny 2 is an FPS action RPG. Okay, a lot of abbreviations there. PvP is a player versus player activity. An FPS action RPG means a first-person shooter action role-playing game, and the competitive playlist is essentially the pinnacle activity where the best of the best compete against each other for in-game loot and glory. Now, with all that out of the way, Ice, give us a brief history. You know, what draws you towards games like Counter-Strike and Destiny, and more specifically, what draws you towards the competitive side of it?
I've always, since I've been a little kid, growing up playing all kinds of different sports, I've always had a competitive side of me. I always like competing against other people, watching other people and how they compete and how they might do things differently from me, and then kind of adapting that stuff to myself. That's always drawn me to sports and eventually video games. I grew up playing video games since I was 2-3 years old. I blame my dad and my grandma. My grandma really fueled the fire. But yeah, she kept getting me games. I kept playing them. I kept loving them. And eventually I landed on one of my good friends, showed me Counter-Strike way back in the beta days. And I had never really played an FPS game outside of Doom on a joystick.
Classic.
Just a single giant joystick. I was like, well, I love that game. Why would I not love this one? So I gave it a shot. I got into it. I saw how much fun it could be playing against other people in a PvP perspective, because I'd never really experienced that before. And then it kind of just, the competitive side from all the sports and all that stuff, really just, it flew over in the Counter-Strike. I could kind of understand how a video game could be competitive through playing that game. Go ahead.
100%. 100%. I totally get that. So like me, you've played video games your whole life. I mean, do you remember, is there a specific point where you sat down and you said, I really want to improve at this. I actually want to make this a focus, and I really want to propel myself forward.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny enough. That's where I got my name from. The first clan that I joined was the Top Gun clan, and I don't remember how I found them. But it was called Top Gun, and I changed my name to IceMan because of that, and it's stuck since. And that was like the beginning of Counter-Strike. I forgot what my name was originally, but yeah, I became IceMan then. It stuck. The clan started getting into OGL, the online gaming league, which was like the very first online league that was through a website, a web portal. It was really the first one that people really adopted and caught on to. And then through that, I got into IRC, if people remember that, internet relay chat, which is basically Discord, just not as cool. Discord kind of took that to the next level.
We are dating ourselves here.
Yeah. So once I got into IRC and I started getting into all the different channels, the competitive like scrim channels, there's just so many channels to really go explore and to start meeting people. I was like, oh, this is cool. I really enjoyed this. And we played our first match in OGL. It didn't go well, but it was a cool experience. So then from that point, I was like, man, this is the best. I'm really going to try to start practicing and start getting better at it. My clan obviously fizzled out, didn't work out, unfortunately.
This happens.
So once they stopped really being competitive, I was like, I'm going to try to start meeting people and start taking my game to the next level. So that's where I kind of just went on from there and started playing with other teams, playing with other people, and just taking on the whole competitive side of things.
Fantastic, man. I love it. Okay, so you have a very established history in the competitive side of gaming. You know, when you think about it, what have been some of your best resources for improvement over the years to really take you from A to B and up to the next level?
Yeah, so way back then, and this is kind of pertinent for Destiny and a lot of games right now, with cheaters running rampant all over the place. Ironically, one of the first things that I did when I was like, because there's no really like aim training things, which we'll get to. There's not a lot of just aim training. It was more just like I got comfortable with the sensitivity that I thought I really enjoyed playing with. I started getting used to that. I got feedback from other people like, hey, what sensitivity do you use? What kind of mouse do you use? Like all that kind of stuff. Just to kind of understand kind of what the quote unquote meta, there wasn't really a meta, but whatever that was back then, just to make sure that I was going down the right path and trying to figure things out that worked for me, but I wasn't putting myself behind by using just crappy stuff. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So ironically what I did is I hopped into the legitimately cheating servers in Counter-Strike. Cheaters would literally go in and play against each other to see who could cheat better. And so I would hop into those servers and try to play against them because they were shooting me through walls constantly. So that made me understand which walls I could shoot through and how I could do it. And then they would be speed hacking, going through walls, pretty much everything. And so I would have to kind of train myself to aim really fast and to just what's the word that I'm looking for? Anticipate how they were going to like come around the corner, so I could like place my crosshair better. All those things that kind of make you better in an FPS game, I legitimately started training myself doing against cheaters on a cheating server in Counter-Strike.
Right. So putting yourself in an impossible situation to try and make it possible.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I started finding deathmatch servers from there that weren't just straight cheaters, but you could continually respawn, so you could continue to work on your aim and your play. And then I got into things like Kovacs today. They weren't the exact same thing, but they were essentially aim trainers where you would just be in a web browser and you would click on different targets on a web browser. Just to get myself familiar with my sensitivity. Because an FPS game at the end of the day, Destiny's a little different, but at the end of the day, it's really just who can click on whoever's head first. And so I made sure that I was as good as I could possibly be at doing that. And then I started adapting in more of the tactics. I've always been like a strategic tactical person. That's why I think I've been always drawn to games like Counter-Strike, StarCraft, now Escape from Tarkov. There's a lot of that. Where you try to have to think about what the person you're engaging could be doing, how you could set yourself up to surprise them or play around that. And the way I learned that way back, or at least I started learning, was through just watching YouTube videos, or whatever videos were out at the time. I don't think YouTube was even still a thing. Basically just playing with other people, watching demos, watching HLTV, which is the big thing back then, watching HLTV videos of matches, of professional matches, just to kind of see how the top players played the game, and how what I was doing, there were gaps between what I was doing and what they were doing, and how I could start practicing to get myself to that level. I think that was probably the biggest thing, was watching people that were exponentially better than me, understanding what I wasn't doing that they were, and trying to change that in my own gameplay, but still keeping my own style.
Yeah, absolutely. And and it's funny you mention bringing in the strategy side of things and really trying to explore that aspect. which honestly is just, it's a great segue. You know, at the end of the day, in your personal experience, is your success or failure based off of one specific aspect? You know, you and I are not, we don't have those 16-year-old crazy fast reflexes anymore. We're definitely on the older side of things, so we kind of have to pull from all sides of the pot here. Do you think that we really have to lean into one thing, or do you think it's a culmination of, you know, our experiences and all the things we've learned that's really going to bring you success at the end of the day?
I think it's everything, honestly. That's kind of the generic answer, but it's really a lot of practice, tens of thousands of hours. I played Counter-Strike for an obscene amount of hours. But just the consistent practice, and I think watching other players that are at a high level play the game, and then watching yourself play the game and comparing how those two are different. And then starting to adapt your own gameplay into some of the things that those better players have done. You'll start to notice that you're going to make better decisions. You'll set yourself up better for situations instead of just running into a corner and getting killed. You'll start thinking like, oh man, this guy could be here. I saw this guy kind of hold this angle or do this thing. I'm going to try that. And then it works. And then you kind of just adapt it into your own play style. And then you don't even think about it from there. But I think understanding your own gameplay and how you can make it better and being very critical of your own gameplay is a huge aspect that a lot of people I don't think do. A lot of people just really just sit on aim trainers for tens of thousands of hours and their aim's insane. But if they're not good at decision making, they're not going to be good team players in something like Counter-Strike, Valorant, like the team-based FPS games. Fortnite, you can do it because you're essentially just by yourself and you need to out-aim the other person. But in team-based gameplay, good decision making and tactics is huge.
100%. Fantastic. I absolutely love it. Ice, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. It has been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a blast, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We use video games to illustrate our topics here, but this also applies to real life. Your favorite athletes spend their whole lives honing their skills to compete at top levels. Chefs work tirelessly to discover and master the flavors that they work with and the tools that they use on a daily basis. Artists, musicians, teachers, we can talk about endless professions here. The point is, if you want to do something, if you want to excel at something, all you have to do is put your mind to it and work hard. If you truly want to find success and you put in the time and effort to do it, nothing is going to stop you. A huge thanks to IceMan for joining us for today's video. You can find him over on Twitch, twitch.tv/IceMan1H, streaming Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I will put all of his info in the description. Seriously, go follow this man. Your life will be better for it. I also stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/MoRains. You can find me over there Monday through Friday. I would love to have you a part of my community as well. I will put that as well as my socials in the description also. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Had a lot of fun with this one. Remember, all you got to do is work hard and put your mind to it, and nothing's going to stop you. And I will see you on the next one.